how excited are you to get the season going?
Yeah, excited. Obviously, it's this is one of the best times of the year. It's we've been beating up on each other for it seems like since June. I think we got our guys here, and we've been beating up on ourselves for a long time. So I know our guys are excited to play in front of a crowd against another team. We've had two private scrimmages or whatever I don't even know if they're private anymore, whatever the heck they are, but scrimmages against other Division I teams that didn't necessarily count. We also had the red-white scrimmage, which was in front of some fans last weekend on Family Weekend here. Which, by the way, what an incredible weekend that was. The whole deal, the tailgating, the football game, the crowd was awesome. That was my first experience being here for Family Weekend, and it was an incredible one. But our guys are excited just to be out in front of crowd, fans, play against somebody else. So we're obviously really excited to get things going here.
Coach, you mentioned you've been with this team for a few months now. What do you see this team's identity as being this year?
I think every good team, whether it's good or bad, always has an identity. And if you can't put your finger on it, then you're probably not very good, right? We want to be the most connected team in the MAC, and I think it starts with our older guys, with Morgan, who's obviously been voted as a captain, who's done a tremendous job leading. Makai Larry, who was obviously voted as a captain as well. And then Anderson Mirenbaugh, who's been voted as a captain. Those guys have really kind of set the tone with that. And so is our staff. Listen, it's like everything we do, we want, whether good things happen, bad things happen, how connected are we? And we've really made a huge point of that. And, again, it really starts with our captains. They've been doing a great job.
You talked about the months of kind of going against each other as you've gone into these scrimmages. What have you learned about your team overall from seeing them play against somebody else?
Yeah, so the first one, for our first private scrimmage, we actually scrimmaged Robert Morrison, and man, we have a lot of guys who haven't played college basketball. That was very noticeable right away, and we scrimmaged earlier this year than I've ever scrimmaged before, and we probably weren't quite ready to scrimmage somebody else. But it is what it is. You learn a lot about your team, and I'm glad we did it. But we're going to rely heavily on a group of freshmen who've never played, and then we have a group of guys. Quite honestly, Morgan's one of the guys who's had experience in college basketball. So is Makai Larry, played a lot, and Julian Lewis, who's only a sophomore, played a lot last year at William and Mary. But other than really those three guys on our team, if you look at the amount of minutes that our guys have played in college basketball at this level, it's not very many. And that was very noticeable right away. But I will tell you the growth that our team has made over the last 2 weeks has been significant. Significant. And that's my whole thing. Those guys know it. Like, listen, I just want to see ourselves get better. That's all I want to see. That's all I want to see. Listen, it's a long season. It's a marathon. And some people get so high or so low and they react to every little game or – man, it's about staying the course, man, which our guys have done a great job the last 2 weeks. Now, the goal is, can we do that again, right? And this week, can we have another great week of practice leading up to our first game against Evansville?
How are you guys physically with like a week to go?
Man, so it's a war of attrition. It really is. We have too long to practice. I'll be very honest. And I wish they would change it. But now you feel like you get behind if you don't. It's almost teams practice year-round. Starts in June, which is crazy. The NCAA should really look into the correlation between injuries and what they've allowed these rules to be now. And because summers used to be off limits. Now, I don't think they should be off limits, but I think we should be able to work small groups of 4 into skill development. Same thing all fall. There used to be that build-up to Midnight Madness, October 15th. That Friday, man, for our players was an exciting time. And then we'd play a game, within a month. Now, we're practicing in June, July. You have August. You have September. You have October. And then all of a sudden, at the end of September, you have practice. But you've already been doing team workouts. So it's like, I don't understand that. So to answer your question, we're banged up just like every other team is in Division I basketball, and it's about keeping us healthy. Javen Etzler's been out, Julian Lewis has been out, Kurt Harrison's been out. Morgan was out for about a week and a half. He's been back here last couple weeks. But, it's a war of attrition, man. It really is.
What's your philosophy, given that you've got a lot of new players, new system, so on and so forth, about the non-conference season? I guess we'd probably be able to look for a lot of different players seeing time.
Yeah, for me, I always say playing time comes down to trust, and you earn that trust every day in practice, right? Are you the same guy every day? Do I know what I'm getting out of you, right? Like I'm not riding the roller coaster. I'm not playing it, hey, I hope he does things right. Nope, you earn that right in practice every single day, right? I would say the second thing is productivity. We have what we call the Miami Way. Miami Way, we stat everything in practice. There's a winner and a loser to everything we do. Every 2-point field goal that's made is a +2. You miss a shot, it's -1. You get a turnover, it's -2. Your best players always end up scoring out the best. And a guy like Morgan, I think Morgan won the first 3 weeks of the Miami Way, and I think Julian won week 4, and then Billy Smith, a freshman, won this past week 5. So, we are going to try to play as many guys as we can because, I think sometimes coaches look at guys for what they can't do. Right? I think a lot of people, again, it's a negative world that we live in nowadays. We got to look at for what everybody can do. There's a lot of things that, again, we want to hide weaknesses and obviously show our strengths with each individuals. But you can only play so many guys. It's not like today's Halloween. Happy Halloween, by the way, to everybody. But this isn't like going around and like everybody gets a little candy. Like that's not how playing time's done. My job is to put us in the best position to win, and those guys know that. And we have individual meetings every couple of weeks just to make sure everybody knows where they stand on the team.
Shooting and rebounding have been a couple areas of inconsistency. How do you feel about this group being able to step up in those areas?
Yeah, I think, I do think we shoot the ball really well. Really, really well. That's a strength of this team that we have right here, Team 117. I mean, we shoot the ball extremely well. Rebounding, my focus has been the hustle plays, right? The things that take zero talent. Taking a charge, loose ball, being connected on the defensive end, rebounding. You hit the nail on the head, right? Like stuff that has what? Physicality, toughness plays, right? And I've been telling everybody this. Morgan gives us an identity. He really does. Like that's who he is. He said the first thing, hey, who am I? He's a competitor. He brings it every day. Those guys know that. I think that's permeating throughout the rest of our team a heck of a lot more now than it was 2 weeks ago. We still got a long ways to go, but like we got to continue. But for us to have a chance in the league, we have to be a really, really good rebounding team, and I think we can be with our size on the wings with Morgan and Julian Lewis, and you got Kamari, you got Billy, we got a lot of size on the wing that I think can really impact the glass. We got to take care of the ball too, though. That's a concern of mine right now.
Coach, a lot of guys on this team with, like you mentioned, not a ton of experience. Who's one of these younger guys that you think might step up that we might be talking about and writing a lot this season?
Yeah, they've each had really bright moments. I mentioned the guy I'll mention right now is Billy because Billy just won the Practice Player of the Week this past week. Billy's come a long way. He's a freshman from Brebeuf Jesuit High School up in Indianapolis, 6'7". I think you guys will really like his game. He's just always in the right spot. He was really, really well coached in high school. Todd Howard, who coached at the Division I level, so he knows ball. He's been coached. He's been held to that standard, and he's been held accountable. He's really skilled and he's versatile. And then you got guys like Ryan Mabry, Ryan can really score, can shoot the ball, can pass the ball, can really, really shoot. Can really, really shoot the ball. And then you got Jaquel Morris is really, he's really come on too. Mitch has had some bright spots as well. So I think even our walk-on Eli Johan, who I'm going to tell you, I think you guys will come to find, like, man, he'll run through a brick wall. He'll do whatever it takes, and he can really shoot the ball as well. So we'll have different guys that can really impact the game.
And kind of flipping that question to the returning side, I mean, you talked about early on kind of a blank slate for each person and seeing what they could do. Yep. What have you seen from Makai and Kamari specifically leading into the season? Yeah,
Makai, I think you guys have obviously seen him even more than I have over the years playing. He can score the ball. He's got a gift. Listen, I told all the guys we sat here in the film room, I said, hey, listen, he's going to shoot more balls than anybody else on the team. If anybody's got a problem with it, raise your hand right now. If not, I don't want to ever hear another peep anymore. Like, listen, he can score. He's electric with the ball. You know that. But where he's got to be better, and I've seen a lot of film on the defensive end. You can't be an A offensively and then be like a D or an F on the offensive end. That averages out to a C. That means you're an average player last time I checked, right? Like, so can we get him, again, listen, he's 5 foot. Man, we list him at 5. I don't even know what we list him at, 5'7" and 5'8". All right, it's probably being generous. He's got to be a gnat. He's got to be a gnat. You know, like anytime he's below the free throw line, he's going to be at a disadvantage on the defensive end, right? So, like, he's got to be able to pick up full, which he's done in the past, but he's got to be better off the ball. And because, again, like his guy's going to have the ball a lot. Obviously, he's going to probably be, defending the other team's point guard most of the time. But when he does go off the ball, he's got to be a lot better. And he has been way better the last 2 weeks. He's been taking charges. He's been diving on the floor for loose balls. Listen, everybody's held to the same standard. I don't care how many points you score. It takes zero talent to do those things. And I think that's where I want to see his growth. And I have seen his growth, and we got to continue to see that, though. Moving forward. Kamari is another young man, obviously finished the season very strong last year. Didn't play a lot last year, kind of to the last, 5-6 games of the year. But I thought he really came on for the team last year. And he's done the same thing this offseason. I think he's a guy that can really score the ball. He can get his own shot. He's long. He's versatile. He's another guy. He can really crash the offensive glass. You mentioned rebounding earlier. Like, he's one of those guys that can fly in there. He's 6'6", 6'7". He can make things happen. He gives us a different level athlete out there on that floor that I think we can really utilize on both ends of the floor. But he's taken a big step forward. I expect him to be really, really impactful for us this year.
How excited are you for the season to get going?
I'm super excited. I love being here. The energy around this team, the coaches, and just the program has been great, especially this last week. We had a great week of practice, and I think we're ready going into week 1.
Mike, first question?
How's it been over the course of, the summer and into the fall as far as the prep work physically and otherwise?
I think every new transition you make, especially new coaches, teammates, and a new program, it's definitely difficult at first. But I think we've definitely taken leaps and bounds moving into the start of the season. So I think everything is trending upwards right now.
A lot of newcomers here that you guys are trying to mesh together. How difficult has that been, and what kind of role have you been playing in trying to get everybody basically, I guess, on the same page?
Yes, so I don't think it's been difficult at all. We have great guys in this locker room. We brought in a lot of great transfers and a lot of great freshmen, and bringing back the same great guys in this program. So I think it hasn't been difficult at all. It's been fun, and I think in my role, just as an older guy, just bringing everybody together, trying to learn as many people as I can and get to know them at a deeper level.
Morgan, you're a team captain here in your first year. What was your mindset coming in, and kind of what have you done since you've gotten here to make that happen?
I think my mindset's always been the same since I started playing basketball. Is to help my team and put my players in the best position to win basketball games. I think I've done that, and I'm a competitor. And so since I've let that show, I guess I got voted to be captain.
What would you consider of some of your own personal strengths as far as what you're bringing to the team?
I just definitely think number one, being a competitor. I've always grown up to be a competitor. Losing is not a favorite thing of mine. I come from winning, and that's what I continue to want to do here.
Coming up from Wofford, you're a little bit closer to home now, Columbus, Ohio. How does that feel to just be closer to home?
It's great. I'm a Columbus kid, born and raised. So it's nice to have my family, friends, being able to come to watch games, come and see practices, visit me. So it's nice just to be home. It's like almost a homecoming to a sense.